All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, Big Ramy. You guys have been sending me this left and right. My ats, my mentions on Instagram have been full of Big Ramy posing videos. Hey, Nick, look what Big Ramy just posted. And it's one of those days, man. Big Ramy, like I said, as we get closer to the Olympia, now we're within like the 5 weeks out range. We're going to see a lot more of these physique updates start to drop from some of the top guys, Big Ramy being one of them. Now, as always with Big Ramy, it's always hard to tell whether or not a posing video is recent. Big Ramy posts a lot of throwbacks without labeling them as throwbacks. Now, he says in this caption, he references the Europa Spain. Obviously, he was prepping to compete at that show. That was where he was going to attempt to qualify for the Olympia officially, whether it was on points or off of a top 3 placing there, earning the qualification. But he was not able to compete, as you guys know, due to a positive test for the virus. So Big Ramy received a special invitation. So he is currently prepping for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. He is currently eligible to compete at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. The main question on my mind here is whether or not this video is recent. Now, again, based on the caption, I think this is probably from his NPC or from the Europa Spain prep. I don't think this is from his Olympia prep. Now, it could be. This could be him right now at 5 weeks out from the Olympia. But honestly, with the heavy reference to the Europa Spain, I think this might be from the Europa Spain prep and not necessarily a 5 week out Olympia posing update. Now, in the status, he says a couple of interesting things. He says, I was after that win in Spain to get qualified, but thanks to the Mr. Olympia, Pro League, and Dan Solomon, I got that invite. I saw a lot of people talking about how my forearms lacked veins on the videos that I posted. I didn't want to answer the views chasers. I want to thank my fans for always having my back and supporting me. So I found this interesting because this is actually a criticism of Ramy that I have not seen yet. I have not seen people talking about Ramy's forearms. To be honest with you guys, I see two main criticisms often of Ramy. A lot of people talk about his calves being too small for his quads and just conditioning overall. I haven't seen the specific commentary on his veins in his forearms. So I don't know if that was something that you guys have seen or that you guys noticed or something that you guys observed. But that is the main point that he references in this status, is talking about his forearms lacking veins, which, again, something I didn't really notice and something that I don't really see this video changing my mind on the forearm. I don't know. This isn't a very forearm-focused video, so I don't really understand that part of the caption, to be honest. And he also says, I will do my work, let them do their work, and I will do mine. God will facilitate a greater win than the Europa Spain. See you guys in 5 weeks. Call me the Dream Chaser. As you guys know, Phil Heath, who is also coming back this year, his nickname is the Dream Killer. So it's going to be interesting to see how Big Ramy looks, but it's hard to tell. Again, if this video is recent or not. He references his Europa Spain prep. He references people being critical of the photos and videos right before the Europa Spain. But then at the end of this post, he says, see you guys in 5 weeks, as if this was a 5 weeks out Olympia post. And honestly, like I said, my honest opinion, I don't think this is from his Olympia prep. I don't think this is how he's looking at 5 weeks out. I think this is from some point during his Europa Spain prep. Because I saw, a lot of the pictures that he did post, and he didn't post that many, but going into that Europa show, he looked sharper in those photos than he looks here. And at 5 weeks out, I think a lot of the guys that we've seen updates from so far look a lot sharper than this as well. He certainly looks big, but like I say, he's Big Ramy. We know he's big. That's nothing to be surprised about. If this were recent, I would say he's in trouble. To me, he doesn't really look like he's 5 weeks out in this video. Again, that's why I don't think it is. I think it probably is a throwback video. So I would take this video with a grain of salt. I think it's old. So as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not this is recent. If it is recent, how do you think he looks here? And if it's not, how do you think he looks here? But I'm curious to hear your guys' response in the comment section below. Oh, now next up in the news, some Chris Bumstead, Breon Ainsley beef. Now, this is kind of what I talked about the last time that Chris posted a physique update, which was probably just the last news video because he seems to be posting one almost every day. He posted this one, and one of the comments that I made about his previous physique updates is that he looks bigger to me. It looks like he's playing the size game a little bit, making improvements, and it looked to me like his plan was to come in bigger at this year's Mr. Olympia. And it looks like Breon thought that same thing because Breon left a comment on this latest video that you guys can see right here. And Breon says, size looks good, but it better be super shredded because this will be my best conditioning ever. And I've got to agree that based on what we've seen from Breon so far, Breon looks like he's really dialing in and focusing on conditioning. Breon, I don't think he can come in much bigger. I think he's past that point, and the conditioning is the game that Breon really needs to play. And that's kind of the observation that I've made between both of these two guys at where they're at in their preps. I think Breon does look tighter than Chris at this point, but I think Chris looks to have made significant improvements over this past offseason. I think that's really going to play to his favor, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out on stage. Will more size come out on top? I mean, I don't think that Bumstead is going to come in off. I think he's going to be bigger, but I still think he's going to be conditioned. So I'm not saying he's playing the size game in a negative way. I think it's going to benefit him. I think he made improvements, and I think he's still going to come in with good enough conditioning to win. But Breon does make a good point here. I think Breon is ahead of Chris a little bit from a conditioning standpoint, and that is coming from a super neutral perspective. But in this video, I think Chris actually looks a lot grainier than some of the other videos that we've seen. Again, you got to take note that he is in that perfect lighting. He looks very vascular, but lighting, man, it's everything in bodybuilding, and it's everything in classic physique too. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you guys think will come out on top at this year's Mr. Olympia Classic Physique, Chris Bumstead or Breon Ainsley? And do you think it will be a battle of conditioning? Do you think that's what it's going to come down to? Now, speaking of classic physique, Wesley Vissers, Mr. Vintage Genetics himself, he posted another physique update, another back shot. He's been focusing heavily on the back, it seems. It seems like that's something he's wanted to bring up, and it's something that he's proud of, that he looks to have brought up. And he posted this back double bicep video, and his back does look a lot bigger to me than it did before. And maybe that's going to help him look a lot wider up top. A lot of people thought he had kind of a boxy upper body, a rectangle shape is how some people put it. And maybe increasing the width of that back was something that improved upon that look. Now, he looks dangerous in this, and I don't know where he's going to place at this year's Mr. Olympia. I would like to see him in the top 10, but it's hard to say. This is going to be a really stacked lineup in classic physique. And again, speaking of classic physique, Ruff Diesel, Terrence Ruffin, he's been posting a lot of physique updates lately. He is one of my favorite guys in classic physique right now that hasn't been really in that conversation for the top 3 spots at the Olympia. But he is extremely aesthetic. He's got a crazy small waist. In this picture in particular, this recent physique update he posted, and he had the caption on here, who's replacing Keon and George in the top 5? And I think that is a spot-on caption because I think he is going to be the man to do that. I think you're going to make it's a hard argument for him not to be in the top 5 this year, to be honest. He's got some of the best posing in that division. He's got some of the best posing in modern bodybuilding in any division, to be completely honest. But this picture, man, the width of his upper body, the improvements it looks like he's made to his legs, how small his waist is, his V-taper is crazy. If he comes in shape, he brings that posing. He looks like he's put on some size. He looks like he's going to be a very dangerous classic physique bodybuilder. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Terrence in the top 3 this year. That's how good I think Terrence is. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, the latest training video from Hadi Choopan, just doing some curls there. We still don't know for sure whether or not Hadi is going to be able to attend or compete at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. It all hinges on whether or not he's going to be able to get that visa and get it in time to come to Vegas to compete at the Olympia. We really don't know at this point if Hadi is going to be there. Again, I think it would be a tremendous shame if he's not. I do think he is one of the best bodybuilders in the world, and he proved that last year by placing 3rd at the 2019 Mr. Olympia. And I think without Hadi there, the Olympia wouldn't be the same. I think it's like an Olympia without Big Ramy. He's kind of he's one of those guys that's a serious threat. I honestly believe that Hadi is a serious threat to winning the title. The conditioning that Hadi brought, I would say, was almost better than anybody else in the Olympia stage last year. And that is the level of conditioning that can win an Olympia title when everybody else comes in off. If Phil Heath came in off, Hadi Choopan with that conditioning could beat him. That's how good Hadi really is. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.